Welcome back with Chumming with the Spirits. I have Parachum and JD here. It's Whack Story Wednesday. We're gonna cover an interesting story from India, not Indiana.
Indiana. No, this one's pretty crazy. To be honest with you, when I was watching you read it,
yeah, we'll get into that just because that's a high level whack.
It's pretty whacked out.
So let's go ahead and read it real quick for them so they understand what we're.
Yeah. So this incident is called the Poona Poltergeist incident. Incident. I can't talk, but I'll go ahead and read you the story so that you can get a little bit more clearer picture in your head.
If you have that type of thinking.
Yeah, I can't picture things in my head. I have a disease that's called
50% of the population.
OCD or something. On April 23rd, 1928, in Poona, Indiana, like you said, the eldest son of Dr. Ketkar was involuntarily Jesus, there's going to be a lot of big words in this one. Was involuntarily teleported to the doorway of a room where his amazed mother was writing letters. The surprised boy spoke to her while hanging limply in the air, as if held by some invisible force about the waist height. Over a 3-year period, Miss H. Kohn, the boy's aunt, documented hundreds of supernatural incidents, most involving an 8-year-old adopted son, Damodar. It's like the Conan Damodar. The boy was frequently terrorized by his toys, which would hurl themselves out of the wooden toy box and fly at him. One time, fed up, Kohn replaced the toys and slammed a large dictionary down on the heavy lid, but they continued to escape. Jars, especially one containing medicines, disinfectants, ink, and saccharine, I don't know what that is, frequently flew through the air. One bottle that had been taken from the house 2 days earlier reappeared in the house, and another flew around a corner. Once a jar, sailing at enormous speed, stopped and floated to the floor when Kohn screamed. Fruit put out for the spirits could be heard being eaten, and tooth-marked rinds were left behind in the bowl. Damodar's empty pockets filled with stones, while rocks fell from the roof. Picture glass and eggs were broken. Money vanished and sometimes reappeared out of thin air. Kohn, attempting to outwit the poltergeist, purchased a safety inkwell, tightly screwed on the lid, and left it in her room. When she returned an hour and a half later, the ink was sprinkled about the room and the aluminum container was missing. Looking upwards, where so many objects materialized from, Kohn called out, "I do hope the spirit will throw back the pot. It cost me 1 rupee. 8 annas." Words were barely out of her mouth when the ink pot and tightly screwed on lid materialized in the air and dropped onto her bed in front of her. Yeah, no, this is...
Well, I mean, like I said, this is... I wonder if Poltergeist, the movie, wasn't based off of this encounter.
That's highly possible.
Because the portals, which... I mean, I guess do happen in some poltergeist activities, but that's generally higher level. You have stuff disappearing and materializing in different areas. That's pretty big.
And the fact that we are filming, so if I caught that, I'm recording. The fact that she was laying heavy objects on the toy chest.
Well, that was the boy that was doing that, but yeah.
Him.
And they're still escaping.
And they were still getting out. Is highly intelligent, in my opinion.
Well, the tooth-marked rinds of things being ate, that leads me to be, I would almost think you're dealing with an entity, not a poltergeist, like a powerful entity.
Is it possible that they were experiencing some sort of, like, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but sleepwalking scenario from the little boy? You know what I'm talking. You know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a little girl there. I mean, theoretically, maybe she was distressed they adopted the boy.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
You saw that
Hmm.
flash? The Bell Witch.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Bottles disappearing, reappearing.
being levitated, hearing noises that are coming from something that doesn't exist.
Or those you can't see.
Medicine bottles.
Well, and the aunt reported over 100 instances of weird paranormal activity.
Yep.
That's why I'm like, but she wasn't talking. I mean, she's talking about objects being thrown, but a lot of times we're dealing with poltergeist activity. You have chairs get moved, or they're rearranged, or
I wonder if where Poona is, if they have
India. We covered that.
What the fuck was that?
You heard that, right?
That was in the room.
You're filming. We're good.
I'm wondering if the location of that in India has any link to historical supernatural phenomenon. If
That's true.
other people are experiencing
If that
stuff,
family had any other activities afterwards,
or were delving into stuff they shouldn't have been delving into.
possible.
It is terrifying. Like if
Imagine seeing your kid being levitated off. I don't know if I'd stay in the same house at that point in time. I would probably have to leave.
I would have left as the kid. Would have like, Mom, you're on your own. Shit.
Time to go. We're out. Well, to be like he said, he was teleported to it. Like it was in bed.
Yeah.
Next thing he knows, he's up in the air in the doorway.
So the other thing that comes to mind is astral projection possibilities. Maybe it was happening while someone was asleep, and it was not an entity or poltergeist, but maybe it was their astral form. Maybe someone was like not in the house. Maybe someone was screwing. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
I don't have the answer to that, but is that a possibility?
Usually in astral form, you don't have that type of capabilities to move solid objects, or let alone teleport.
Unless you're a powerful astral. Asshole.
Yeah. Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where I would be. Like, I mean, there are some poltergeist activities of that, with portal things moving, but that, I mean, you're getting it. Like I said, I have to look up to see whether or not that had some of the influences for the movie. But that would be terrifying. And like I said, to me that goes beyond standard poltergeist activity.
Well, and this is also back in 1928. So
Yeah.
this is before video cameras.
Yeah. No, this is well, and you would be deemed crazy.
Yeah.
And that's probably why there's 100 documented events, because she didn't want to go to anybody. Like, she was just reporting it
Reporting herself.
to try to, and to be honest, India was even back then was a fairly large population, very hard for people to move and find someplace else to go. I mean, there's
What do you do in that situation where you can't really vent or reach out for help because of the scrutiny that it may cause you or your family?
which adds more stress to the family.
Because there's no
I mean, if it's poltergeist, like traditional poltergeist activity that may be generated by somebody in the house,
moving's not going to help.
yeah, and
Even if it is a spirit attachment or something, moving's not going to help, right?
it depends on what it's attached to. If it's attached to a person or a thing, I mean, there's some things. Well, but that's also why you would take like a trip and see if it follows with you or not. If it follows with you, then you might as well go back to your house. At least you know where that's.
I just can't imagine having that kind of activity happening and not having an outlet to seek help.
Yeah.
That's got to be terrifying.
Well, I mean, maybe they did seek help, and there's other type of religions in the area, and that. But yeah, but that back then, yeah, I don't know if they would have gone, because like you're saying, like, it's 1928. I mean, it's like you don't want to be deemed crazy.
Because at least in the Bell witch hunting in the 1800s, 1700s, somewhere, I don't know off the top of my head, but the town got behind it.
Yeah, the town actually came out and they witnessed all the events. There were multiple witnesses, collaborations of the events going on.
Just imagine if they hadn't been embraced by that. or been cast out as pariahs and still having to deal with all that activity. That would have been torture.
Yeah.
So let us know
What you think?
what your thoughts are. Or
Look it up, or if you heard of it, or if you heard of a different version of it.
And we'll leave you with the quote for this by Dion Fortune. We live in the midst of invisible forces whose effects alone we perceive.
Yeah, I'm not really keen of the
So there's things out there that we can't see, but it's okay because we don't know what they are.
It's a blanket. It's the blanket effect.
That.
Just put the blanket over you. If you can't see it, it can't see you, right?
This is how to combat. Take up Tai Chi.
Calm your mind.
So, thank you for watching this
Wax story.
Wax story.
From India, out of Indiana.
From India.
Be safe.